Hello, everyone. I'm Beth Mean, and welcome to episode 20 of Joyous Everyday Living, a positive possibility podcast where I feature innovative guests that inspire us to expand our lives into greater fullness, joy, and delicious, unlimited possibilities.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And so today's fascinating guest is Mick Dodge, otherwise known as the Barefoot Sensei, and he's co-founder of the Earth Gym, along with my very frequent guest and dear friend Jackie Chandler, and he's star of the National Geographic television show, The Legend of Mick Dodge. So welcome, Mick. How great to
Oh,
have
thank
you.
you. Yeah,
Really
great
good
to
to
see
see you.
you. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
We're on
I know.
television now. I love
Yeah, we're
that.
on television. Whoa, we like that. That's so we can share ourselves with everyone. It's so much fun to, even digitally, just connect. That's the basic elixir of life, I think, is connecting to one another. And I'm sure that our listeners today would love to know about your basic barefoot philosophy. After all, you're known as the Barefoot Sensei. And tell us what that's all about and how that came about, Mick. We'd love to hear it.
Well, I years ago, I've always been in movement disciplines and raised in the Marine Corps and been in the Marines, served with my dad, my uncles, and training was a big part of my life. But I turned my feet over to shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and so my feet eventually, after years, got plantar fasciitis,
Mm.
hammer toes, shortened Achilles tendon, just couldn't move around. And I went to the doctor, and they said, well, he said, you're too active. The human is not meant to be running around and doing what you're doing. And he had all these degrees on his walls, and I was
Yeah.
looking at him going, I don't know, but
Yeah.
he casted my feet, and I went out to my cabin on the Ho River up in the Olympic Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's where you're from,
my
right?
yeah, that's where I was
Mm-hmm.
born. Yeah, I was raised over in Okinawa in Japan. Graduated high school
Wow.
over there. Grew up on Marine bases
Wow.
and that kind of thing. But every summer I'd be flown back to the Olympics, and I'd be with my granddaddies and grandmamas who were woods people.
Mm.
And so I was sitting there in my cabin with my feet cast, had a fire going, and I picked up a National Geographic magazine, and I flipped it open to where article on Chinese women foot binding.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and as I was looking at that magazine, I kept looking at my feet that were cast. I was supposed to be out there for 3-4 weeks, casting, then we were going to take them off and go through rehabilitation. And I had all my shoes, mountain boots and tennis shoes, and if they, in order to train, if you needed some kind of footwear, I'd buy it. I'd say, yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
my feet. And I was just opening and closing that magazine all night, just looking at the article of what they did to the women's feet. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at what I did to my feet.
Ooh, yeah.
And as I opened and closed that magazine, by morning, I took my hunting knife and I just cut off those casts
Wow.
and started planting my feet back in the earth again. And I had these white, pathetic, puffy looking things. And I was 225 pounds of bodybuilding muscle, but I had these white things that I just, woke up to. And so I started barefooting,
Mm.
and I just made a commitment. I'm going to plant my feet back in the earth and
Mm.
grow them back how I knew how to grow muscles and bones and tendons and stuff.
And it worked
And
out. Yeah.
it started doing it. The physical started changing. I wound up going for days in the mountains. I was running faster. I also had, in order to do this, I had all the weight gain powders. I had
Uh-huh.
all those supplements they had. And I noticed I was training harder, getting stronger,
Mm-hmm.
losing weight, and I couldn't eat. I wanted to eat because I thought, nah, I'm doing so much physical activity. I need this stuff, but
Right.
I couldn't get it down. And then it dawned on me that my feet were telling me you're too heavy, that the training you're doing is not working. And so that was where I just went, follow my feet and the earth will teach, because it was showing me, it was saying you're too heavy here, your movements are more cumbersome, the whole thing.
Wow. So you had a complete kind of mind-body communication that was so
Oh yeah.
deep, and everything came together in a whole
Yeah.
new innovation. I mean, a whole new evolution in a way, right?
Oh, it was a really
Huge.
wonderful wake-up call. But the
Yeah.
the other thing I began to notice was the sadness in
Mm,
my life, and the madness, the anger. um, those those feelings began to shift, and I realized one day that sadness, I mean, college people, they got all kinds of names for it, depression and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
but sadness to me is about loss. And I
Mm.
realized that I had lost my connection with the earth,
Ah.
and that was a very motivating feeling inside me, was like, I want that, I want that that solve that loss and that sadness. And if you stay sad too long, you get mad.
Mm.
And so
Yes,
that angst, I
that's
wanted that
right.
out of my life. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? It was,
Yeah, they say that under all anger is some kind of grief that is
yeah,
that is unresolved and unexpressed. So that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. For me, the loss was the earth, and I would tag it with lots of other experiences and blame
Hmm.
the sadness on that, or
Mm,
blame the madness on that. But it was just like,
mm.
nah, this is that lost connection with the earth. And so I got hooked on barefooting. And I became such a fanatic about it. I made the vow, I'll never wear shoes again. Never, you
Wow,
know.
really?
I had to go, yeah, I had to go back to work. And then, what am I going to do? I was a heavy equipment mechanic at the time. So I cut the soles off the bottom of my shoes and kept the steel toe part on top.
Uh,
And, but then I wound up, I'm kind of slow. And then I realized, wow, I'm tasting this floor, this shop through my body. I could get a bitterness in my tongue.
mm,
And so then it just hit me, well, if my feet don't fit this place, I'm not going to stay here. And
wow.
so I left work, I left houses, I just took off into the mountains. But then I took off one time way up into the high ground of the Olympics, which is a lot of glaciers.
Hmm.
I got right up the edge of the timberline, and the snows came in. That night I was sleeping, and when I woke up, there was, snow everywhere, and I was in a little cave, and here I was barefoot, and I had 20 miles in order to make my way through the snow to get out of there. And then here I had to gather firewood. This is like 3 days. I was
Whoa.
gathering firewood, keeping the fire going, trying to keep my feet warm so I wouldn't lose them.
Yeah.
Because it dawned on me, well, I got front paws, so I got to make some footwear. And so I built some footwear, cut a jacket up, built some footwears and stuff, and then made my way out. But what that lesson taught me, again, my feet were teaching me,
Hmm.
is I was so arrogant that I would make the comment, I will never wear shoes again. And that's arrogance, that
Huh.
you have to, one of the things about barefooting to me is the first thing that happens when you step out of shoes
Yeah.
is you start working your attention. You start paying attention. Where are the stickers? Where's
Mhm.
the glass?
Ah,
Where's the
right.
dog shit?
Yeah.
Where are the assholes? I mean, it just opens up your attention. And then the other thing comes to me is acceptance. And
Hmm.
you have to accept there are things I can control, things I cannot control.
Mm.
And that middle path is, how do I get out of control? And as I
Interesting.
as I step out of this, what controls me and what I control,
Uh-huh.
Um, John Muir said it. He said, I was stepping out and I found myself going in. And there was a mantra that came to me, out and in and in and out. And the common sounding word in that is the word and makes up most of the word land. And in the front letter of the word land is an I with a little foot at the bottom, an L. So it's like leg, foot, land. And when you land the earth lands you. And
That's
so I followed that mantra and began to explore the opposite, the release and detachment of sadness and madness.
Fascinating. What an interesting way to heal from the ground up through the entire body into the spirit, because they are so connected. And then, it is said that the bottoms of your feet, that's where everything you can detox, and that's where every reflexology, everything is connected to your entire body. And so you're getting a remarkable balance, and like on so many levels, as you're just mentioning, the balance between internal and external life, and the balance between human arrogance and human humility. So it's really quite deep and fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's why I say follow your feet and the earth will teach. And and what will it teach you? I don't know. I only know what it teaches me, what I can come back and then I can share. And as I continued on with that, I began to explore habits. And the habits I was going on, like stupidity, come on, Mick, you're being stupid here. What is the pathway? It's a wonderful time to be stupid, but what's the pathway, to take it out? And that's paying attention. And then the other one I worked on was boredom. When you get bored, what's the pathway out of boredom? You find the cure. And the word cure, our ancestors, when they were drawing sounds down into words, the word cure sounds into the word, to me, sounds into the word cure is us, curious. So I was building my attention orb, and I love boredom. When boredom comes, it's like two words to me, bore, dumb. And what is that dumb? This is boring is dumb here, and it's also makes the sound dom, domestication, domination, domicile. So I just kept domain. I just kept playing with those words, pain. What to do about pain. And being raised in the Marines and being a Marine, we had a mantra saying, pain is the release of weakness.
Ooh, that's so macho. Whoa.
Yeah, when I looked at that for emotional pain, thinking pain, physical pain, and how do you release weakness? Well, you get strong. Strength is about detachment. It was my grandfather that taught me about strength. When I was a kid, he'd see me running around pouting, or I was angry or something like that. He said, "Come here." He said, "Pick up that stone and make you hold the stone over your head."
Wow.
And you'd stand there with this stone and you're shaking, and my uncles would be going like, "Stay there, hold it. I'd hold it, and I'd be shaking. And then you get to a point, you drop it. And my granddad would say, "You feel that release? Now you release that pouting and that anger to the ground, because you don't know what to do with it, boy."
Wow.
And that lesson stuck in my life. That's why strength training and barbells, all those kind of things, I really went after them and developed a routine and training to where I grip something and I hold your hand up and you go, what is strength? It's grip, hold, and release, detachment. So if you want to train a detachment, get strong. Get strong. And how do you build strength? How do you do that? And that became my pursuit, and touching my feet and how to detach. And one of the other things I began to work on too was like fat. And fat's about storage.
Yeah.
And so you store. And so you gather fat, you store it, and then you got to know how to release it. And then it fit into, well, what's your story? Is my
Oh,
story sad? Is my story mad? And you got detachment down to release those. But now comes the really exciting work, is how do I release the glad? How do I release the joy? You know, there's an old saying, misery loves company. And it's like trying to hook you, or fear does that, and misery and those things. Well, how do I show up in life and release the joy, release the
that
happiness?
would be the
And
next step, wouldn't it? That's okay.
yes, it
You
would.
can be in relationship with the pain and the weakness and this sadness, but
Yep.
then, okay, once then, how do we now begin to
Yeah.
have that blossoming of the flavors
Yeah.
and wonder of life? So I just want to throw in there, have you always, since you were little, been a wordsmith, like fascinated with words? I'm just so interested in, because you really teach yourself, and your philosophy is around the breakdown of linguistics and semantics and sounds and all
My
that.
my grandfather was, when we would go on long hikes in the mountains, running around up there, hunting and fishing,
Uh-huh.
making a long journey, he would always work on a poem. And he would recite something, like one was The Builders by Longfellow. And
Really?
as we would
That's
walk,
great.
yeah, we would walk, he
Oh
would
God,
go,
that's crazy cool.
all are architects of fate, working
Yeah.
in these walls of time, some with massive deeds of grace, some with ornaments of right. And he would make us chant that back. And then later, when I was in the Marine Corps, you fire up a bunch of troops with marching and chanting,
Uh-huh.
you know, put your feet on the ground and stuff. So I was always fascinated with the effects that wording had on me and how it
Ah,
could inspire me,
interesting. Interesting.
And so I just continue that. I have hundreds of poems in me. And what's interesting about it to me is, in order to remember them, I
Yeah.
have to go back to where my feet were landing.
So it
And
all comes back to the whole deal, the feet deal. Okay,
yeah,
so that was a
yeah,
segue. I want to steer you back onto the finding joy part, because that's my whole deal
yeah.
is systems for for being attuned to the essence of life as I perceive it, which is it's so much wonder and joy. Not that it's just, you don't have to not exactly work, you have to attune yourself that way, but that is in its nature, its essence. So I want to find out about your joy process. So where were we
Well, I
headed
think
with
it's
that?
similar to yours. When your book is really interesting to me, because I'm always drawn to those titles. It's like uh, arrogance. When I was trying to work on, okay, I got this arrogance in me, and I see arrogance in the land, trashing it and those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a long quest trying to figure out arrogance, and
Mm.
one of the things I found you needed was humility.
Mm.
But the trouble with humility is it can turn into whining, and you're caught in that misery loves company. We need to be humble, and it goes too far. So you need to balance it, and you got honor.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to bring in the truth and the reality, but honor sometimes will turn you into an asshole. I mean, you get so
Okay.
blunt, you're just like, hey. And so I was looking for that balance of humility and honor.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found that balances them out is humor and joy. And
Mm.
and then I went on a quest. Well, what is humor? And what came to me, the basic foundation, the root of humor, is that we're all so full of shit. We think we got it all figured out. And what's good about your book to me is you speak about joy. You bring in some really great stuff, but you bring in movement and dance. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you can, for me, I cannot experience um, what words mean and stuff unless I have them in movement. I have to put them
I'm
in movement. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
I do a dance with hammers, and I'll work on a concept or a word. What does that mean? Like the
Mm.
word fitness. and I'll start training with it. No, repetition, you need that, but I spell out the word FITNE, fitness. It's 2 words, fitness, nest. What's a nest? That's what a bird makes. And what does a bird do in the nest? They nurture the nature of the young to fly and become more mature. That's what our mothers do. They nurture our nature to become more mature. And so I use my training to figure out the words that are going to guide my feet.
Really
That when
interesting.
the actions come up, these words will come to me. And there's
Yes.
nothing better than dancing and song when you
You're
start learning
right.
dance.
That's why it's
Yeah.
the first chapter in my book, Move. I think of all thank you so much for speaking about it too. It's called Joyous Everyday Living. And I'm so honored that Mick enjoyed it and enjoy it. But the first chapter is Move. I'm in so agreement of you. That is one of the qualifying factors of being alive, is that you move.
Yeah.
And it is the largest, using the body as your vehicle is the largest connector to those feelings of happiness and joy. And on every level, the chemicals that get secreted, the moving of life through the body, it just, as you so know. So yes, and of course I love the dance of life and music. Do you use music in your earth workouts and all a lot, or sometimes?
Absolutely.
You do?
I like using other music, but it's also getting my own song and finding those rhythms there. I have a running song that came to me where I would set the rhythm with my feet, and as I set that rhythm, then I would work out words that would guide me. Like just a short example of it. I run high and I run slow. I run to find the things I know. I run long to hear my song. So I will, whatever my training goal and stuff is, I work words in and then find those songs.
Oh, I love that song. I want that song. You're gonna have to make an album. Although those are personal songs. Everyone should probably figure out.
No, they're for everyone.
They're for everyone. Oh, cool. Okay, good.
If you look at the word, you look at the word ing, I-N-G, that's old English for the people of. And it makes up most of the word sing. So you would have towns like Farmington. So the ing in there is the people of the farm. And so ing is in sing. And so singing, like when you have sadness, sing that song. You've lost something. So you sing a sad song. And then, that's good, your sad song, but you have to evolve that now into the joy song. And as you get the joy song going, you take it, you've lost something, you're trying to heal it with a sad song, you go to the joy song. Now you go to the dream song and you dream a new vision, you dream a new story.
Wow.
Yeah, there's an old Celtic tale my Aunt Ruth used to tell me about that. People lost a sad song and the earth, the bow in the river, the female energy in there gave birth to the joy song or the sad song. The sad song went around singing and searching for the lost song. And then the sad song, well, the people got too sad. They started whining and crying all the time. So she gave another birth, and here came the joy song. And so the joy song got out there, and the joy song's looking for sad song and saying, let's get happy. But then they started partying too much, and the partying got out of control.
They got sad.
Yeah, so she gave a third birth, and that was the dream song. And as they got the dream song, they woke up to a new vision.
That's amazing. What a fascinating tribe you come from. Your grandpa quoting Longfellow and your Aunt Ruth, is it just, knowing Celtic lore? That is absolutely. And then the whole military thing. I mean, what a fascinating kind of whole bubble of wonder that you came from to make all this go on. So
Well, I
that
had
is,
wonderful, wonderful mentors,
yes, I see
elders.
that.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
that. Well, Mick, we were gonna just do a half-hour segment, and we've already done that just on the basics, but I don't want to
Wow.
stop. I know. So that's just on the that is so I mean, we could probably go for days and that, but I'm just gonna say that I think we'll just continue our fascinating conversation with Mick Dodge. I'm so happy to have you. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time.
Yeah,
So
it's been quite a while.
been quite a while. So instead of really stopping our segment and going into episode 21 that's separate, we're just going to continue here and continue our conversation rather than break this wonderful chain. And I know that now that we know a little bit about Mick's philosophy and background and all, I'm fascinated about your stewardship and conservation of land. I mean, we haven't even asked yet how anyone found you in the woods. That's another whole question, but I'm afraid we'd go for maybe that'll be our third segment, like how did they find you in the woods for a TV show. But let's just, I want to, before we do that, I'd love to find out about this land that you're stewarding. I know that you have 220 acres or something in the Sisquoc Mountains, and you've just taken on a new 5-acre parcel to steward and renew. So can you tell us in this next segment about the wonders of your land conservation? I'm so fascinated.
Well, I've always wanted a gym,
Uh-huh.
and so as a kid playing, then we play as kids, and my dad, my uncles took me into the discipline of training, how to take
Mm-hmm.
the movements you're using in play, and how to transition that into disciplined repetition so that you show up and play the game well.
Mm-hmm.
And I train at the extreme sport of aging. That's I've always wanted to grow up. I love getting older. I've always wanted to do that and explore what's going on. And looking for a place to set up and have that gym. Hello.
I know you've got quite the musical score going on
Yes.
behind you.
Well, it's part of the
It's part of the ambiance.
bird team.
A team of
So,
birds there.
oh, we got hundreds of them. So in Shasta Valley,
Mhm.
which is an amazing valley, found this valley down here in Granny McCambridge. Her and I started putting together the extreme sport of aging. So
Wow.
we found 10 acres.
What is that, by the way? You're
I don't know what that one is. It's a new sound to me. So we got the 10 acres and I turned it into a gym. We've really worked hard
Wow.
on it. We got raised gardens. We have about 130 trees here. We have 2 acres of wetland.
Granny,
And
who did you do this with? Did you say?
Granny McCambridge, her name is Denise McCambridge. I
Oh,
call her
Denise,
Granny.
got it. Oh, you call her
Yeah,
Granny. Yeah. Okay. I've
yeah,
spoken to
yeah.
Denise.
Man, I tell you, she knows how to cook. I mean, I'm a guy that will eat roadkill, and she's really led me into nutritional living. And
Oh, that's so awesome. Yes, I think
oh,
we're going
she's
to
a
do a show with her at some point too.
oh, you got to have her. Her
Okay. Yeah,
story
we'll
is
have her.
just amazing.
Okay.
But
So
we got
you and Granny have this land, got this land.
yeah, we got the 10 acres, and then about it's a 45 minute drive from here. I mean, Shasta Valley is amazing. I look at Mount Shasta every day, and
No, that's
it's
incredible.
no matter which direction I go, within 30-35 minutes, I'm in the mountains. We're
Mhm.
surrounded by the Cascades, the Siskiyous, Trinity Alps. But we bought this 10 acres, and it's got 2 acres of wetland. So we started a bird project where we, growing pheasants and
Wow.
growing trees, and we got raised gardens, grapes, and then built the gym. We have, people that come here and train, and then found another 220 acres up in the Siskiyous, and that acreage, our development plan for that is, the first step is keep your mouth shut and stay out of the way. You know, quit thinking you know how what to do and develop with it. And then the
I love
second
that.
step,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
oh, it's think of it as a
Exactly.
force.
Like, let it
Yeah,
be. Because we're so
let it
trained to
be.
get in there and like tear stuff up and make this
Yeah,
happen
yeah.
without just listening, right? Like,
Well,
take a break, empty space, empty space. That's where it happens. So, brilliant
yeah.
first step. I like your systems. Okay. So,
Let it
first
go.
step.
Let the earth teach you. And the second
Uh-huh.
step is um, observe, witness what's taking place. I mean, it's a challenge in itself to get your arrogance out of the way, to get other people come up. You know, around this area, I asked somebody, you know, what's that plant? You know, because I know the Olympics and that area, but there's a lot of plants down here on the learning curve, and everything's a weed if it's not alfalfa or hay.
Mhm.
And so it's like, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want that approach. So the 220 acres is just, it's all forest. It's got an artesian spring on it. It's just caves, and 220 acres is a
It's a
lot of
lot.
land. But we bought that, and it's for nothing but growing wild.
And
Uh,
wildlife, you have a lot of wildlife there
oh
that,
yeah, cougar, it has cougar, bear,
oh,
deer,
thank God. And
eagle.
they're safe there. There's nobody going to harm them. They can just live their life.
Right,
Oh, that
right,
is such
right.
a relief. That to me, that opens my heart. It feels so
Yeah.
good. I'm concerned about all the wild creatures. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm in the city here in Santa Barbara, and I have a large yard, and I've got water out at every level. So I got water, a little water for the bees, and water
Wow.
for the possums, and water for the couple of squirrels that come by in the neighborhood, and water for all the millions of different birds. But I'm so concerned in the city and with all the development that they get enough to eat. And, you know, I have some butterflies and some monarchs, and that, but, you know, that's the best I can do in this city environment. But I am
That's
so, that's helpful, but I'm so
I,
concerned about our wildlife that,
I
you know, they
you
get to
make
be
you
live.
make my heart sing, because
Oh,
that's what we are meant to do as
yeah,
human species, I think,
yeah,
is to grow things. If you want to
yeah,
know how to grow strength and grow your life, you have to grow the earth. It's
yeah.
and you know, one of the things I do when people come here to train is they have to bring a plant with them, a flower
Mm.
pot, something in a flower pot, or a, you know, a pot. And what's the first thing that happens when you leave that plant in a pot too long? It begins to get root bound. And
Mm-hmm.
I find was the same for me and my feet. So my teacher was, how do I transplant that plant? You can't just stick it in the ground. You have to open up your curiosity and attention, and what the principles you learn in transplanting a plant, you begin to learn how to apply those to your body. And
Wow.
for me in the Olympics, I was always growing wild. And when I go down the city, I got onto this from a Japanese guy. I would take mud and put seeds in there. And as I walked past a disturbed area, I would just toss it. You know, I don't know whose land it is, but I would just toss it. You know? And I've gone back to some of them, and there's this empty lot where stuff is growing. You
Yeah,
know, it's just like
it
growing
started
is a
growing.
tremendous feeling. So the 220 acres is the witness. The second step is just witness, observe what takes place here. And then the third one is, where do I show up now? Where do
So
I
let's,
show up?
okay,
How?
so the first one is let it be. The second
Yes,
one is witness, just look,
yes.
perceive what is. And the third one is listening to God, the guidance of what action to take. Tell me about the third one.
Is, where do I show up?
Oh, where do I
What
show up? Yeah.
physical action? One of the things I see happens today is that there's a lot of talk about what's wrong, what we should do, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great talk. There's a lot to learn from, but it's time to do the walk. It's time to go, where do I show up physically to make this happen?
Yeah.
You know, and people, and I had people come to me. One guy was, you know, Mick, this is all an illusion. You know, it's just an illusion. It's not real. And they go into this higher conscious kind of stuff. And I'm really into lower consciousness. You
I
know,
like that. Yeah.
you know, it's not an illusion, you know, it's like, this is real.
Yeah.
Do you eat, you know? And so those kind of, they're great talks, and they kind of start taking off, but they lead you into, oh, you want in? All right, wait a minute, just a second.
More wildlife? Who's coming in?
Bush, come on. This is
Who is
Boshigo.
it? Oh, hello.
Come here.
Oh, what a pretty face. Is that your baby? Oh.
That's how we call her Sky Boshigo. It's Boshigo means boy, she go.
Oh, boy, she go. Oh, she likes running around.
Oh yeah.
Boy, she go. That's cool. That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, she like it. So once we had that up, and have this all set up, and we've been working the last 3-4 years on this, is now to do the electronic stuff.
Well, okay, wait, where were we? We were back on before Boy Shigo showed up. We were on Where Do You Act? So now you've gotten some intuition or instinct or guidance on where to act. And so, and then that segues into the electronic stuff that's going on. So is that what you're,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and being on television.
Yeah. Like what? Yes. There you are running barefoot, you know, up in the mountains, and all of a sudden a TV crew shows up. And I mean, like, what? How did all that happen? To share this. You must have been meant to share it. It must be very timely. Some food that people need of connection to our home. Earth home. So tell me about it.
Well, you know, it was basically, I don't think it really had, I just happened to be the Olympic Mountains to me. Was my teacher, and I was learning so much from that. And so when television showed up, it was really not me. To me, it was the mountain.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to do with the show was to show off the Olympic Mountains, the whole rainforest, you know, my teacher, I call it Master OG, which is the initials for old growth. And so the old growth forest was my teacher, and the opportunity to show that off was pretty exciting. The thing is, I did not understand television, and I had turned down a couple of networks. But then when National Geographic came, I'm thinking magazine. And so I go, yeah, because I didn't know television. And when they came, they were taking events in my life, and they were trying to, it's a medium that, you know, got to get done in 20 minutes. You got a time thing. And so they were coming up with these things, and I was just like, man, you know, that's well, my humor kicks in. I just like, man, this is a lot of BS, you know. And it was like, how do I keep going? And it was the opportunity to channel the Olympic Mountains and the whole into this electronic medium, and it would do its work, you know. And we shot 36 episodes and something like that. I've only seen one of them, you know, and when I watched it, it was like, I had to get stoned to do that. I mean, it was like, I am just this electronic medium. But then I saw it, it's such a useful tool. There's a way
useful tool. But how did the connection happen? Did they somebody hear about you? Or I mean, I'm just wondering how that connection from woods to thing.
Jenny and Michelle, two young girls that had TV going on and stuff. They came out and filmed me and singing songs and praise and stuff. And then Screaming Flea, they shopped it
Wow,
to all the
fantastic.
networks, and
Hmm.
then they came in and said, "Hey, you know, we want to do this
Great.
show on you and stuff." But see, I thought we were going to call it the Land of Legends, and we were
Ah,
going to be talking about trees and people. But what they did was call it Mick Dodge. So, and the legend of Mick Dodge, you know, that guy's 7 foot tall, blows drama out his butt. I mean, the reality wanted lots of drama
yeah.
and a survivalist. And I'm not a survivalist. I'm a thrivalist. I have a great time. You know, I'm not out there to have a miserable time. I'm out there to have a good time. So there was a conflict, and my humor kicked in, and so I just kept
Out.
screwing with them, you know.
It worked
And
out. Well, you know, that you have to, that's a huge blend between, you know, formulaic television that gives people what they're trained to want and the content. And I think actually it's just brilliant that it got put together, because if you're reaching people and they, you know, and you have a large audience that can gain some insight into that feeling of their own deep natures, how rooted and connected it is into the earth and the water and the mountains and the elements through you, then, you know, you've done a great service, because we do forget, many people forget to just look at the clouds and be connected. You know, look at a plant, and
yeah.
it's so it's a really deep service and very fascinating for sure. So you did all that. So that was one of the things that you did. And are you in your are you having people come now? Is you have in your training center and your gym and all that, do you have regular people that come to you to and how would they find you if they wanted to train with you and learn about these things?
Well, with COVID,
Uh-huh.
which, you know, I'm sorry for the people that have died and the
Yeah.
death that takes place with it. But, you know, like social distancing, I was born for social distancing. I, I just,
I
I
get
just
it. I
love
get
it.
it.
And I like when I go in town now, they make people stand 6 foot distance. I just love it. They used to
It's
stand on
really
top
good.
of each other.
I know,
I'm
it's
there.
good.
And then they got the mask thing, and I wear a mask, but I got a Green Man mask that I go in with as well. You know, I love the mask thing, and
I get
so
it. Me
and
too.
I just,
Haven't
I just a
haven't had a
great
cold
thing,
all
you know.
year. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, and I think I don't know how much people talk about it out there, but an immune system is a strong immune system is really where you need to be putting some focus and
That's
stuff, you
absolutely
know. And
right. Yes.
yeah, and so I say this is like a nice wake up call, come together,
Hmm.
you know, and that kind of thing. People come in here and train. We keep it down to a low numbers.
Hmm.
Payment to come in is you have to be planning something. And if you're not planning something and training, then you can't come in. That's the payment.
I see.
It's not you're not cash or money. You have to have something, some kind of planning going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm launching a YouTube channel and
Oh,
or training program or however I'm going to do that.
uh-huh.
And you know, I'm slow. I barefoot and I'm old, so I really take my own pace. So those goals are coming together, but payment to get one-on-one through Zoom or something like this.
I see. It's
Um,
just it's
I want to
formulating.
see a
Mhm.
video. I want to see a video of them planning something, and then I'll share what I know on the training and so
Got
forth.
it. So that's another kind of plus of this situation that has had its downside, but we are more technologically
Yeah.
connecting now, so you can reach more people and do more. And that also is very, very exciting. I mean, here we are
Oh,
right now too.
you know,
So,
there's an outfit called kisstheground.com.
oh yeah, you were
And
mentioning that. Mhm.
yeah,
That
Woody
is,
Harrelson, I think
oh
the guy
yes,
that
right.
wrote.
Uh-huh.
It's about growing soil. A
Mm,
third of our soil in this country is gone.
mm.
And so, you know, let's turn dirt. That's why we picked up the 5 acres is we're turning that dirt, which has been farmed too much and chemicals, and turning that back into soil. So, things can grow. And there's so much wealth to this information of this computer and
Yeah,
stuff to
that's
educate yourself. I'm just
yeah.
blown away. I'm like, whoa, look at what I can learn here. Yeah, it's so exciting. I think these are such exciting times.
They are exciting times. And do you have a future vision for everything? I mean, you've got so many wonderful things going on, but is there something other than just having fun in the moment? Do you have a specific new vision that you're going to be unfolding at this point in your life?
It's it is for the vibrations that we set up here for the Strength Farm and this acreage in the 220, is that it continues on. When I look on it, when I started looking on the computer and stuff, and it's like there was this MAGA chant thing, make America great again. I thought they were talking like before 1492. When it was full of forest and rivers, it's like, that's when this country was great, people. That's what we got to go at. And so I think the call of the time is make America grateful again.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's awesome.
Being grateful. And that way you do that, the way you become grateful is not just talk about it. It's a physical thing. It's a physical action. It's a physical mission to get done. And so to make America grateful again is to make America green again. And how do I grow things? And that's a physical act, I get to talk to a lot of people on, I got that Facebook thing, which was.
Oh, right. Yes, they can find you. People can find you on Facebook.
The Facebook. And I had to get that page because there were so many fake pages.
Yeah.
And so I finally got that page. And so they contact me, and I try to talk to each one on a one-to-one basis. The worst thing about television to me was, oh, wow, you're a celebrity. I am not a celebrity, but I am in celebration of this earth. And if you want to celebrate the earth, don't be a fan of some man, be a fan of the land. You'll have my attention. I really want to be a part of those kind of people that are doing stuff for the earth and stuff. And so, where I was losing my converse. We got our pheasant growing project. I'm looking at least 12 pheasant right now.
You're watching them right now? Maybe that's all.
Yeah,
do they chirp? I guess pheasant chirp, right? Is that part of your symphony that's going on?
They got kind of a call.
Oh, they have a call.
But so I lost my attention.
Oh, well, no worries. No worries. Well, we're going to be winding up actually our second half hour in the next few minutes. So is there anything that you would like to sum up or tell our listeners or, leave them with after this really fascinating hour of conversation and elevation, I think?
I got one. Yeah, I got
what? I love the Make America Grateful Again thing and make it green. That is beautiful.
Make it green. Let's grow
make
things,
it green.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Are you still there? Our audio is still here.
Yep.
It looks like your picture went out. So, well, that's actually it. You can there you go, Mick. Now you're back. Yay.
I had a phone call. I didn't know you'd get a phone call during the middle of this.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Oh, that's right. You probably have to put it on some setting to not get a phone call. So is there some way you'd like to conclude our wonderful conversation today?
Yeah. Get out of your shoes. You're getting fat. You're going to wind up flat on your back. Learn to stride across that grass, and you will lose your old fat ass. Walk as far as the eye can see. Learn to touch the earth with your feet. You don't wear no boots or no shoes, and you grow your old souls just like you. Don't hang around in those shopping malls. Learn to walk past those walls and head out into the valley deep, and you will find what you seek. Learn to land your bare feet far and wide and open up that earth inside. You don't wear no boots or no shoes. You grow your old souls just like new. Yosh.
Yosh, yay! Perfect ending. I love that song. Well, I can't thank you enough. And what a fun morning to have with you. And we'll definitely do more. The radio show will be on a lot of national distribution. It'll be on my Joyous Everyday Living YouTube channel. And you can find it at all times at hubforpodcasting.com, hubforpodcasting.com, hosted by Patty Teal. We'll be connecting with you on Facebook and all kinds of places. And Mick will let you know how to also listen and watch it regularly. So thank you so much for being with us today. And I look forward to our continued conversation. Thank you, Mick. It was so much fun.
And thank you for putting this on and knowing how to do all this.
No worries. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so bye, everyone.